2012 saw the conclusion of several criminal cases and a few surprises in others. The first was the capture of a man known as the Handsome Guy Bandit. 44-year-old Stephen Ray Milam of Tyler was arrested in January after a police chase in Mississippi. Milam robbed at least 11 banks wearing high-quality Hollywood-style masks. He pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 35 years in prison. Another case came to an end with the sentencing of teenager Nate Anderson for the murder of his sister Amanda in 2010. Anderson called 911 to report that his sister had been shot 4 times in the head.
Smith County 911, what is your emergency?
A shooting.
He later pleaded guilty to the first-degree murder charge and was sentenced to 20 years in prison. The reason for the killing is still unclear. In May, East Texans were shocked by the release of Deanna Laney. In 2003, 39-year-old Laney said she received a message from God to murder her 3 children. She beat them to death on Mother's Day of that year.
I didn't want to do this, but I thought that I was being told by the Lord to do this. I believe that.
She was later found not guilty by reason of insanity in a case that gained nationwide attention. Today, Laney walks free after 8 years in mental hospitals. And in June, 50-year-old Kelly Gage was released from jail. Family members believed that Gage beat his wife, Patty McHugh Gage, to death in November of 2011. He was jailed for 90 days, but authorities couldn't find enough evidence to charge him with the crime. McHugh's sons, Nicholas and Caden, still believe that Gage is responsible, and both have protective orders against him. Texas's oldest junior college, Lon Morris in Jacksonville, is no more. The college filed for bankruptcy in July after years of financial difficulty. After delayed paychecks and termination of its staff, the school finally announced there would be no more classes. An auction of the college's property is scheduled for January of 2013. A Tyler salon owner was found guilty of performing illegal breast augmentations on women in the back room of her salon. One of the women was hospitalized after complications following one of the procedures. Carmel Foster, owner of the Queen Diva Salon in Tyler, pleaded guilty to practicing medicine without a license. She was sentenced to 18 years behind bars. A murder and kidnapping rocked the town of Coffee City in July. That's where 22-year-old Jackie Guthrie allegedly shot and killed 18-year-old Chantel Barrett, then kidnapped his pregnant girlfriend Tiffany Hurd. Guthrie was found the next day in Galveston. Luckily, Hurd was unharmed. Aurora, Colorado, a town forever associated with this man, James Holmes, and the horrific murder of 12 people in July. Holmes opened fire in a movie theater during an early showing of the most recent Batman movie. 12 people were killed and 58 others wounded in the shooting. Unfortunately, the attack would not be the only massacre in the U.S. this year. Controversy surrounded the Chick-fil-A franchise in August after the chain's president, Dan Cathy, said that the company is founded on biblical principles, including the traditional family unit. Uproar ensued from gay rights activists, while Cathy's supporters showed up in droves to restaurants nationwide, including right here in East Texas.
The turnout is fabulous. We came from the south, and it was backed up past Sandy's Ice Cream today.
An entire town prayed for the return of a Smith County toddler after he reportedly went missing during a game of hide-and-seek. 2-year-old Jacob Kimberly was found dead in a septic tank after an overnight search, and his parents, Sabrina and David, were arrested for criminal negligence. Their next court date is scheduled for March of 2013. In October, a plea agreement was reached in the trial of former Smith County Precinct 3 Constable Dustin Rust. Rust had been indicted for misuse of county property, accused of using his deputies for a private security detail in Smith County neighborhoods. Rust pleaded guilty to all charges, including misdemeanor theft. He also paid more than $7,000 in restitution and was given 2 years probation.
The tall cowboy with all his clothes burned off at 10:31. We got Big Tex on fire.
Texas icon Big Tex went up in flames in October. The giant cowboy that greeted State Fair of Texas patrons for more than 60 years reportedly burned down because of an electrical short in his boot. Fans shouldn't worry, though. The 52-foot cowboy will be repaired and is expected to return to his post next year. A child was kidnapped and his mother murdered on Halloween in Tyler. 41-year-old James Calvert killed his ex-wife, Jelena Shriraman, and escaped with 4-year-old Lucas Calvert. Calvert was arrested after a high-speed chase in Louisiana the following day. He and Sriraman had been through a lengthy custody battle over Lucas, who fortunately was found safe. Calvert is charged with capital murder, kidnapping, and evading arrest. An attack on the U.S. consulate in Libya ends in the death of Ambassador Christopher Stevens and 3 other Americans on September 11th. A review later showed that there were systematic failures and leadership deficiencies at the State Department before and during the incident. The handling of the attack and the way it was presented to the public became a hot-button issue in the presidential election.
I want to make sure we get that for the record, because it took the president 14 days before he called the attack in Benghazi an act of terror.
Get the transcript.
But despite criticism over the handling of Libya and the poor state of the economy, America voted to give President Obama 4 more years in office. There may not have been a shift in power nationally, but big changes came to East Texas during the primary election in May. Smith County Sheriff J.B. Smith announced he would not seek re-election, leading to a vicious campaign for his open seat. Grassroots-backed Larry Smith won out in the end, beating out Tea Party favorite, former Smith County game warden Chris Green. The new Sheriff Smith promises to shake up the status quo. He takes office January 1st. A big victory for pro-alcohol groups in Tyler and Smith County Precinct 2.
Early voting numbers in City of Tyler: Proposition 1, 72% for. Proposition 2, 66% for.
After years of failed attempts, propositions for beer and wine sales pass with overwhelming support, except for a few who still claim the original petition results were not valid.
Because I know that the petition is an illegal petition and is a fraudulent petition. And I know that the election is rigged with fraud.
In December, the mass shooting of 26 elementary school students and teachers left the entire country in shock.
My daughter, Emily, would be one of the first ones to be standing and giving her love and support to all those victims.
20-year-old Adam Lanza shot his mother in their house before opening fire in the Newtown, Connecticut school. He then killed himself. The shooting immediately launched a debate about gun violence and led to the creation of a task force to consider new gun control legislation. 3 people were arrested in the December murder of 27-year-old Ronnie Gamage. Andrew Norwine, Sarah Haslam, and Daniel Jones have all been charged with capital murder for their involvement in his death. Gamage went missing on December 4th in Longview. His body was found several days later in Upshur County. He appeared to have been beaten and his body burned. And it was a white Christmas for many East Texans, something we rarely see. The last time it snowed at Christmas time in this area was on Christmas Eve in 2009. And almost everybody agrees it was a great way to end 2012.